Oh my god, I spilled tea all over my pants. It's hot. Oh, that's not even funny. Good morning, Mario, and good morning, Switch fans. Like the great Usher once said, oh my god, we're back in living space. No more green screen. And yes, I'm doing well. Been reading a bunch of books. Sea of Tranquility, check. The Premonition, check. The Glass Hotel, check. And I'm ready for another week of Nintendo awesomeness with you. I hope you've been doing good as well. Maybe even better than me, because I'm currently sitting in warm tea, soaking my shorts. So make sure to hit the like button if you appreciate that I'm making this video sopping wet. And let me know what you think of today's topics in the comments down below. We're kicking it off with something that just developed, okay? The Squid Research Lab is getting busy. And it's interesting to me that they're doing this before E3 and the Summer Direct. Nonetheless, they posted that the new weapon has been uncovered, the Ink Vac. Now this one sounds very markedly different from anything else that Splatoon has, because you'll be sucking in enemy ink and then splatting it back for a counter attack. So this is a very timing-based weapon, I'm guessing, where you're gonna be... Also, how could I forget? I threw up for the first time in 16 years. The streak is over, baby. Now, there's been a streak of acquisitions in the video game space. You've seen the big Bethesda buyout, Activision, Blizzard, everybody getting gobbled up. It seems like Ubisoft is prepping to maybe be swallowed. We see that they are tidying up their books, and reports say that they might be getting ready for a big buyout. Now, this means a lot to me as a Nintendo fan, because Ubisoft is scheduled to make the big Mario game of the year. Mario plus Rabbids Sparks of Hope is coming from Ubisoft. And it would be mighty weird if, say, Microsoft or Sony bought Ubisoft and then they had to put out a Mario game, because then the earth would collapse in upon itself. There would actually be a Sony Mario game, which just, that can't be allowed. We can't have that happen. I'm actually wondering if Ubisoft would instead be purchased by somebody, I don't know, different, more of like a Tencent, or more of sort of like a holding company that has a bunch of different corporations as opposed to a console platform holder. We'll have to see what happens. Ubisoft has been in the discussion realm before. It's popping back up. I don't know if anything will become of it, but it'll be interesting. Ubisoft is making maybe not the most interesting games as of late, but they have so many popular franchises that are successful on a plethora of platforms. I don't think it would make much sense to squeeze them down to one console or one platform holder. I think the best bet is that you allow them to keep proliferating Assassin's Creed and Far Cry over and over and over and over on all the consoles, including maybe Switch, and that might be another feature of this potential acquisition, just in the same way that we see Microsoft saying, hey, we want to port Call of Duty to Nintendo platforms. Maybe somebody who buys Ubisoft could look at the Switch and say, guys, get these other franchises fully on Switch. We need you to up the ante and make those games happen on a Nintendo platform. On our Nintendo platforms, we're getting more and more release dates. We know Splatoon in September, Xenoblade in July, but August and May, to be honest, are still giant holes. And there's this thing going around right now that I've seen picked up by multiple news sites as well as YouTubers about the big August game being a controversial mystery that everyone kind of knows what it is. And this spawned from Imran Khan tweeting last week that he thinks the August game is redacted, but you don't want it, trust me, which is a very cheeky way of saying this game is going to suck. Now you put the pieces together and you tie in rumors from earlier in the year, and we know what he's talking about. What he's talking about is a sequel to 1-2 Switch, which apparently is still happening. We had Direct Feed Games, aka Nate Drake, comment on this saying it's not really a mystery, it's known what this is, and yeah, it is a 1-2 Switch sequel, which is fascinating to me because Nintendo is doing Switch Sports and 1-2 Switch that close together, tapping into very family-friendly, more casual titles to power along this 2022 that is otherwise filled with many, many hardcore titles. Now, I personally would not instantly write off 1-2 Switch 2 or 1-2-3 Switch or whatever they call it. I would give it a shot. You know, Switch Sports is kind of proving that motion can be fun if done in chunks and done well, and maybe they have some really good ideas. Maybe they can make right and deliver another party game. I mean, We Play was all right, and Clubhouse Games is really strong on Switch, so maybe they can deliver. But it's interesting that like this is such a known quantity rumor. Usually with people saying like, maybe Metroid's coming back, but this everyone seems to know about. So I wonder where it originated. What got out there that Nintendo is absolutely doing 1-2 Switch 2, and how does everybody know about it without us actually knowing about it? I think it's absolutely going to be announced at whatever Direct comes next for Nintendo. And then in terms of May, maybe they're gonna skip the month. Or maybe they're gonna drop something for the online service, or maybe they're going to have an indie world, maybe that's why it hasn't happened yet. But for August, it seems like everybody is somehow certain that 1-2 Switch is coming back, and I'd love to know if you're gonna even give it a chance. You gonna even look at it? You're just gonna dismiss it? The cows? You gonna look at it? Here's something real juicy, and this one is a true mystery. We have no idea what's happening here. There's this really cool Twitter account called Nin Status Bot that always tweets about the maintenance that's coming up for certain Switch games or for the online service or for the system as a whole. And that's how we know, like, oh, the SNES app is getting updated on Tuesday. There'll probably be new SNES games. Well, they've added a new entry for a mystery game. In fact, it's called title 0100396012844000. And that ID number is not associated with any known Switch game. Now, the maintenance for this is scheduled to happen tonight. Okay, late tonight, they're scheduled to do maintenance for a mystery game. And people are wondering, what's Nintendo up to? Are they going to surprise drop something tomorrow morning? Are they prepping a title behind the scenes? And before you start making guesses, know that Nintendo Switch Sports is already titled Nintendo Switch Sports, and anything that's been announced has already been associated with a title. So this ID number, having no known correlation, is truly a mystery. I dug back to see if this has happened before, and in fact it did once. And it turned out that it was related to an already released eShop game. They just were getting goofy with the titling. So there is a chance here that it could be a nothing burger. But there's also a chance that Nintendo is up to something very strange. We know the Game Boy Advance emulator leaked out previously, and apparently that is not this ID either. So what the heck are they working on? It makes next to no sense that they would just randomly release a game on Tuesday, April 26th, and yet why are they having a big question mark under their maintenance schedule for tonight? I really don't know what to make of this, and I think probably it'll end up being nothing. If I had to put money on it, that's what I'd say, like, oh, this is just some mislabeled something or other. But Nintendo also does mysterious things, and I'd say 75% of the time that there's maintenance scheduled, it ends up leading to something pretty cool. So we'll have to see what's going on, and hopefully it'll be revealed later tonight, and hopefully figure out what sort of sneaky business Nintendo is up to on the back end for 0100-396-012-844-000. The March NPDs dropped today, which chronicles the video game sales from the last month, and Kirby and the Forgotten Land came in pretty cool. Number 3. Now you have to remember that Nintendo does not include its digital sales as part of the NPD numbers, so it technically could have beat out Gran Turismo 7. It definitely did not beat Elden Ring, which took the number 1 spot, but it could have beat GT7. And Kirby and the Forgotten Land is all the way up to number 7 overall for the year, which is pretty cool. Okay, so Kirby for the year has beaten out Dying Light 2 and MLB The Show 22, as well as Nintendo mainstays like Mario Kart 8, Animal Crossing New Horizons, Mario Party Superstars, and more. I can confidently say that this will go on to be the best-selling Kirby game of all time, and you know I love it, so I think it's very deserved. If you've skipped out on Kirby and the Forgotten Land, play it. Now, Splatoon 3 is something that we'll be playing in September, but today's poll is about how nervous you feel if the game is doing enough new. Now, they've shown off a pretty cool looking single player, but the multiplayer matches that we have seen look very similar. And even in the verbiage, Nintendo has said new and returning stages. But more of you are not worried than those of you who are worried, although the percentage is still pretty high. Myself and 42% of you are worried that Splatoon 3 won't feel new or different enough in comparison to Splatoon 2. It seems like the single player will be the biggest difference maker, but I hope there's more hiding beneath the surface for multiplayer as well, and I hope there's modes or ideas or types of gameplay that really do make this feel like a sequel and not just like, oh, a re-release with some new gear and new weapons. Like the new thing we talked about today, that big vacuum, sounds like a nice add-on for multiplayer, but I think you need more than just a few new weapon types to really set yourself apart as a true successor. 58% of you are not worried, and I hope you are right. We'll probably see a lot more of this game in the coming months, and maybe that's where they'll show us that, hey, it really is 3 and not 2.5. In the meantime, though, everybody, thank you so much for watching. I hope your week is starting off really well. I'm excited to be back in the physical space with you, post-spillage, post-throw-up, and current Nintendo news. I got you covered when anything drops and happens. You know I love it, and you know I love you too. So make sure to stay safe, stay healthy, stay happy, stay positive out there. And until next time, my wonderful friends, thanks again. SwitchForce, out.